All right, guys. Brandon, Trevor, what up, gentlemen? How we doing tonight?
What's going on?
What's up, man? Doing great.
Yeah. It's a big week coming up for you guys. Big Saturday night going down in town. So before we get to all that, all the fight biz, all the beating people up, all the victories that are going to take place this weekend. I did some research and I was looking for intros. And obviously, when you think about fighting, you think about intros. Like I'm all about like the theatrics and like the presentation, and I just want to get chills when somebody introduces a fighter's name. So I'm gonna start with both of y'all's intros. We're gonna take it slow, but I got some questions in regards to these. So Brandon, I'm gonna start with yours first.
154 pounds. He trains with Law School MMA and fights out of Memphis, Tennessee. This is Brandon, the Gladiator.
I mean, yeah, that's the one thing that's missing. The crowd just throwing it at you in the background. I get a little hype for that. I get a little hype, but Brandon, I gotta let you listen to Trevor's, because I feel like the ring announcer for Trevor's was amped. He was like,
Oh,
I
man.
gotta know who was that ring announcer, Brandon.
Let's
You
hear
want
it.
the
That's Jamie 2K right there. It's
I
got
already know it.
Yeah,
All
he's
right.
the best. He's really
Yeah.
good.
Jamie 2K is good, but hear this one.
Fighting out the red corner is a striker standing 6'3", weighed
Oh,
in
yeah.
254.4 pounds. He holds a professional record, 4 wins, 0 defeats, with all 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Representing Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, fighting out of Memphis, Tennessee, Trevor, the unknown element, Wallace.
I mean, the first one, the guy's amped up out of his mind. The second one, the audio sounds really good, not as amped up. But I got to ask you, Brandon, I'll start with you, man. Like, where does the nickname Gladiator come from?
Man, the nickname Gladiator comes from kind of my perspective. One of my favorite movies is The Gladiator. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with it. And there's this one scene where he reaches down and he grabs the sand in the Coliseum and he smells it. And I kid you not, Trevor, you can probably second me on this. When you walk into the cage, you can smell every single person that's been there before you. You smell like the iron and the lead of their blood. You smell their sweat. You smell their fear. You smell their anxiety. You smell the champion. You smell who lost. You can smell it all, man. There's something about, being closed in, and when that gate hits and that latch goes down, that you're in it for a fight, and nobody's leaving unless somebody comes out as a winner and one person comes out as a victor. And it's not a fight to the death or anything, but we do sign a contract that says that, we give up liability to the promotion if we do die in there. So this shit is serious, man. So I took on the name Gladiator for the sense of this kind of rebellious attitude of kind of overtaking the city or overtaking the place that you're in. A lot of these gladiators, specifically in that movie, he was a general first and was mistakenly taken in as a captive, and ended up, doing his best to take over the emperor and over the empire in some cases. So I kind of champion that, coming from Memphis, Tennessee. It's an underground city, a city that a lot of people count out, but it's the grind city. It's a city where I think MMA can flourish. I think it's already starting with people like Trevor, people like me, people like law school or gyms like Law School MMA, where you see a lot of champions coming out of there. And once it catches on and once fire hits and, that match hits that gasoline, I think the entire nation is going to know about Memphis and the fighters that are from here. So Gladiator just comes from that grit and grind mentality that nobody has like Memphis has. You know what I mean?
I love it, man. You can tell, like, the announcers, I don't know what it is. Anytime Memphis is in an announcer's mouth, they throw it in there, like they give it like this.
I tell you what, Daniel Brandon's ready for commentary. I mean, dude, that analysis right there on the breakdown of his name, like,
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if I could follow that up.
Hey, I will say this,
Barbara, we'll get to you in a second.
Hey,
Yes.
but I will say this, because y'all are on the younger side. Daniel, Randy, when you think Gladiator, obviously that's the bigger movie, but you remember the actual Gladiator movie that was actually a legitimate fighting movie. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I do, but also you said I ain't trying to call these dudes old, but they're closer to our age than most of our guests are.
Well, they're not as old as us. But hey, y'all need to check it out. If you've never seen it before with Cuba Gooding Jr. and I forgot the white boy's name, but anyway, they were street fighting in the underground club or whatever. Anyway, that actually kind of fits the mold of what y'all are doing. That was actually the original Gladiator movie.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Unlike these dudes, I know I can't beat y'all up, so I ain't gonna come close to calling y'all old by any means. But
Hey, that's all good with me.
Randy ain't worried about it. He'll call somebody to defend him. He'll call Jalil.
I certainly will not fight either one of y'all, just so we're clear.
I was sparring Jalil the other night, man. That's my boy.
Yeah, that's intense right there. That's
I got to be honest with you, Brandon. I got a spar session set up with Jalil that Randy's been trying to force into the works sooner than later. I'm trying to wait till I get in shape. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but when it does, I'm getting worked. I mean, he's talking about 3 5-minute rounds. I was like, how about one 5-minute round?
Yeah, he'll have you zapped by the first 5.
Jalil's legit, man. Shout out to him.
I mean,
Shout out Jalil.
it don't matter. Any fighter that we have on here, Jim, I don't care how tough you are, that you'll get work.
My ego's boosted after the star lineman told me I bench more than him. I'm ready to go.
Hey, I can tell you this straight up though, from being around these fighters when I was doing V3 stuff. Look, benching ain't got nothing to do with them fight games.
That's true.
I can assure you that.
So Trevor, I mean, obviously, you are the unknown element. Where does that come from, and what does that mean to you?
Hold on, Daniel. But before we get to the unknown element, I will say that Trevor had a post today on Facebook. Apparently, he got about 5 nicknames. Just to be clear, I thought it was the unknown element, but this man's got nicknames for days.
Dude, I got a, WWE, the wrestling world. You gotta promote yourself for the most part of your careers when you're doing something like that. And WWE is really, or WWF back in the days, I kind of want to be like one of those figures, and just amplify it. So like whatever comes to my head, sometimes I'll run with it, but definitely I got more than one. So, but the unknown element is just, I think it's more original, and like I like to be on the original side, I would say. So
all right, so I gotta know the other ones, because
you will love one, Daniel, because of your old school wrestling. You will love one of them.
So I mean, like we've got a lot, but I mean, the independent variable is one. That was one of the first nicknames I got, and that's what came from, and that's why I was like, well, I don't want to be the unknown element. I called myself the Thrill. Let's see, like in high school, I was Testosterone T. I mean, Big Trev's like the original of it all, but like that's what everybody calls me, from my mom, dad, brother, sisters. Bubba also, I've been called Bubba a lot. I mean,
don't forget the one that got called out on Facebook. That's the one that caught my attention. That's the one he's gonna love.
The Mouth of the South, of course. Yeah, the Mouth of the South. I like to run it, so I mean, some people don't like it, but I don't like air in the conversation. You know what I mean? I like for stuff to keep rolling.
I hear you, man. So whenever you get sick of unknown element, you'll just come up with something else and reinvent yourself.
Yeah, whatever's clicking at the time, or whatever someone has to say. Zach Underwood calls me Gaitor. So I mean, that's from Will Ferrell's. Dang, I forgot the movie, but his second.
Gator don't take no shit.
Gator don't take no shit.
Don't take no shit. Yeah, but he calls me Gaitor. I mean, it's just it doesn't matter to me. It don't. I'll take whatever. Just nothing.
Maybe not Farva.
Not Farva. See, like I kind of was like, it's okay, because I'm a Super Trooper fan when the dude called me Farva, but at the same time, I wanted to put my fist through his face. So, and it was kind of hard to do that nowadays. Like, of course, like Farva's fat. He's got a shrimper on him, and like, just don't compare me to someone like this.
When I think of that guy, I actually think of Beer Fest. That dude,
you know what you should have done?
Hey, they were throwing down a Beer Fest. That's one of the greatest movies. Like,
it's underrated, man. Nobody talks about
very
it.
Underrated. I mean, it's far out there.
Trevor, a missed opportunity. You should have just screamed at him and said, "Listen, chicken fucker." Or pull it out. You're like, "Look, does this look like Farva to you?"
Yeah, exactly.
Do it.
Yeah, I would have gotten in trouble probably. So
I mean, less trouble than probably punching him in the mouth, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. But you can't do stuff like that anymore.
So,
the lawsuit for sure.
oh, definitely. So, Brandon, obviously, one nickname, the Gladiator, man. Like before you were the Gladiator, talk to us about where you were born and what it was like growing up.
Sure, man. I was born right here in Memphis. I didn't stay here for too long. I went to kindergarten here in Memphis. But even before that, I was back and forth between here and Valdosta, Georgia, which is a very, very like rural area in southern Georgia, really close to like the watermelon capital of the world, they say. And down there, Memphis is a tough place, I'll admit, but we moved down there. My father was military down at Moody Air Force Base, and my great grandmother lived down there, and she had 17 kids. So we lived in a house at the time with my great grandmother, some of her children and their children. So all in all, we probably had like 20 to 30 people in a 2-3 room house at any given moment. And we were, growing our own food, shucking peas, a couple people to a bed kind of thing. Military blessed my family with a little bit of more financial security at that time. So we started, moving up and up. We moved out to Fort Bragg in North Carolina for a little bit, down to right outside of Destin, Florida, for a little bit. We kind of went everywhere. My dad got stationed in Osan, Korea. And then in 7th grade, I came back to Memphis. And so it was a big shock for me coming from living on, at one point in Valdosta, Georgia, living in, what people would call poverty at that time. To us, we were rich because we all had food, we were all together, we're all family. But the military kind of spoiled me a little bit, to kind of have this kind of utopian kind of outlook on things, as far as, I could leave my doors open at night, or not doors open, my doors unlocked. I'd wake up in the morning, there's kids in my living room eating my cereal and watching TV, that were my friends and stuff like that. And we had our own fight clubs. We thought we were badasses and built a little shed, and would get in trouble with the military police because little Johnny would come home with a BB pellet inside of his knee because he didn't know how to stop fighting after our pseudo referee said that was it. And so what the referee did was shot him in the knee with a BB gun. He's like, I told you to stop. But shout out to Pierre Frank. He's the shooter. I ain't telling on you, but this was juvenile days.
Yeah.
He's all good with it. But coming back to Memphis, man, I went to Ridgeway High School, and I must say it was a big culture shock in a sense, because in the military and growing up on military bases and military schools, prior to middle school, everybody was the same. We were all on the same team. You know what I'm saying? Like we all kind of fought after the same goals. Our fathers were in the same wars and things like that. And we had the same outlook. When I came to Memphis, I noticed that everything was really segregated. Like everybody was clicked up. Specifically at Ridgeway, I would go in, and I'm used to being in a place where like there's every kind of race and ethnicity and religion and all that stuff all in the military. And then I come to Memphis, and it's like, oh shit, all the black people are on this side, all the white people on this side, the Asian people out in the corner over there, and the Mexicans are in this corner. And I didn't know where to sit, because I was like, I'm cool with everybody. So first day of school, somebody tried me at the little dole machine where you get the orange juice, and pushed me up against the dole machine, and wanted some of my money so he could get a drink, and I wasn't gonna have a drink. And I was like, oh no, this isn't gonna happen. I knew I was gonna have to, show who I was. So after I beat the guy with a lunch chair, I didn't
shot him with a BB gun?
Probably wishes.
He casually says he beats him with a lunch chair, by the way.
I beat him I did a hip toss on him, and then continued to smash him with a lunch chair. And I probably could have ended it with the hip toss, but I saw that the rest of the lunchroom was looking at me, and I knew if I didn't do something pretty dramatic and drastic to him, I would have a lot more fights.
Was this prison or Ridgeway?
Ridgeway, man. Look, we had to walk through metal detectors like every other day. You know what I mean? It was weird. It was a good school, I think, at first, but around the time when I started kind of getting older, 10th, 11th grade, it started to get pretty bad. But prior to all of that, man, my dad was a big martial arts fan. In the house, I grew up with a stick man, looking and studying at Wing Chun. I saw the first UFCs with Royce Gracie as a kid. We had him on cassette tape. I loved to wrestle and fight. And my dad called me bonehead because I was always stubborn, and I didn't want to give up. And you can look at some of my fights. namely the one that I had with Jesse Wallace, where he was choking the mess out of me, and I didn't give up. But that's kind of where I come from. I come from like a grit and grind mentality. My father was a martial artist, loved Bruce Lee. We grew up making our own nunchucks and stuff like that. But again, coming back to Memphis, it was a big kind of culture shock. It wasn't the poverty or the hard life or the gang stuff that really got to me. It was the division amongst people and the kind of dog eat dog mentality that really kind of hardened up my armor. You know what I'm saying?
So prior to, I mean, obviously you go to Ridgeway, but prior to, martial arts and cafeteria Royal Rumbles, were there any other sports that you played, or was it strictly martial arts?
It was I played football, I played basketball, I played tennis actually. I got pretty good at tennis, and that was off of a dare, man. My mom played a lot, and then she was like, "You're getting pretty good. Why don't you try out for the team?" And I was like, "I don't want to play tennis." I was like, "I don't want to play tennis," and she was like, I'll pay you to play tennis to see how good you are." And we ended up going to state in tennis that year, so that was interesting. I also wrestled in high school. My senior year, I wrestled under Ronnie Bray, who is a madman. Shout out to Ronnie Bray. He's out in Murfreesboro right now, man. He's a great wrestling coach. But he would come to your house, man. Like if you qualified for regionals or state or something like that, he'd be at your house before school making you run. You know what I mean? So it's people like Ronnie Bray that really kind of lit a fire in me as a kid, that let me know, like, hey, there's somebody that believed in me. He saw me. I think he actually saw me in another fight at Ridgeway, and I promise you, I didn't get in a lot of fights. Like they just broke out everywhere, and he saw me take someone down. And he was like, "Are you interested in wrestling, kid?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Went home, asked my mother. This is in 8th grade, and my mother was like, "Hell no, there's no way my baby's gonna go and wrestle. I remember what you were doing back at Herbert Field, special ops bases, doing all those backyard fights and stuff. There's no way I'm gonna let you get into that." And so by the time I was a senior in high school, there's no way that my 5'4" mother was gonna stop me from wrestling. So I joined the team.
I don't know if I believe that, Brandon. I think she might still take you right now.
Yeah, I'm lying a little bit. You know what I'm saying? No, mom's a beast, man. Mom's a beast, and she would hold me for ransom by not making me any dinner. But she found out how good I was.
She hit the weak spot.
Yeah, she let me keep it, man. She let me stay with it, and I ended up doing pretty well with it, man. Shout out to Ronnie Bray.
So obviously you end up wrestling, for Ronnie Bray. At what point you obviously graduate, or you're done with high school? At what point do you go, all right, like I need to find out what the next step is? It's not wrestling, is it fighting? And if so, like how did you get into that?
Yeah, great question, man. This actually kind of goes back to David Ferguson. So when we were in Smyrna, Tennessee, I believe, for a wrestling tournament, and David was up there scouting. I wonder if David remembers this. He was scouting, he saw me wrestle, and he came up to me and he said, "Hey kid, do you know what MMA is?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, the UFC." It was just starting to kind of hit the mainstream. And he was like, "Are you interested in doing jujitsu or boxing or Muay Thai or anything like that? Because if so, I know you're from Memphis, and I have a gym that I'm starting." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Let's exchange numbers." And next question is, how much is it? And he said, if you clean the mats, you can train for free. And this is at the time, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it's back when he had like the dungeon, and you'd have to walk downstairs into this dungeon, and it was hot. And
that's how I remember it, man. It's something nostalgic about that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And so I remember, mopping the floors up, and Combs also at
we went to school with him.
Yeah, he was my assistant coach at Ridgeway for a little bit, at Ridgeway High School. And I saw him do like
that dude's a beast.
Yeah, he is, man. I saw him do a flying arm bar and a flying triangle. And I was like, "What the heck is that?" And he was like, "That's jujitsu." So that was kind of the start of it. I went to University of Tennessee at Knoxville, and I did unsanctioned fights a lot.
When you say unsanctioned, were there any BB guns involved?
Not in this one. No, man, like these people rented out the building and everything. And you know, I think this is before the fight commission or the athletic commission and everything. And we were, you know, selling tickets, the whole nine. I hit my mom up like, Mom, I'm going to have my first fight. And she was like, what are you talking about? Your first fight? I was like, you got to come to it in Knoxville. She came up there. It was like I think it was like my sixth fight. My dad knew about it. Of course, I didn't let her know. So after the fight, I got my butt kicked, man.
Randy, with the entrepreneur you are and the way you know the fight game, if you knew it like you do now back then, I could easily have seen you running a fight club back door.
Well, I can't say too much here, but I did. Anyways, we're carrying on.
Next.
Anyway, so you know, obviously, Trevor, you've been sitting patiently, man, and you know, we got to get your backstory as well. You know, you have all of these multiple, you know, facades of alter egos and names, but you know, prior to all that, man, tell me, you know, a little bit about the same. Like, where are you from, man? How did you grow up? Brothers, sisters? Give me the backstory.
Well, I'm from Etowah County. I'm from Fulton, Mississippi. I was born in Tupelo, but for the majority of my life, I've lived in Fulton and Tupelo. So between those two areas, went to middle school in Tupelo, high school at Etowah, graduated there. I was a multiple sport player in high school. I played baseball and football. Baseball was my first love, man. Number 33 and coach pitched for Piazza, you know, back in the days, you know, and I think I was 25 to the year after for Mark McGuire because he had like, you know, 76 bombs or however many it was. But yeah, my first love was baseball. I really, you know, really loved it. I wanted to play high school baseball, and that was just my only, you know, really, I guess, dream when I was younger. Is I wanted to play high school baseball. I wanted to be in the MLB. You know, that was my first goal. But I guess it was my sophomore year. I met a coach, Jamie Mitchell, in the hallway, and he asked me if I was interested in football, and I was just like, no, I'm not interested in football. And then he was like, you sure? And then I was like, I'll come out and I'll do some spring ball or whatever. And he had just came from Olive Branch, I think. He was with the Conquistadors or something, and they were dominant, except for when they ran into Panola boys. But
South Panola.
Yeah, that was a different era. I don't know what happened to them, but they were dominating for sure for a long time.
God, they had those strong boys, and I mean, Jesus, they're just a solid. I mean, like
I'm surprised you didn't stick with baseball though, because we actually have a lot of guests that came from your area that are playing D1 ball, and even now, you come from a very strong baseball area.
Yeah, I mean, baseball is the word. I mean, in high school, Chris Stratton, I had to go against Chris Stratton. Like, I mean, I grew up with Chris Stratton. That guy pitched with San Francisco Giants. All right,
You took him 450 dead center.
No, absolutely.
Oh,
not.
you just killed the story then. You should have lied.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a strikeout. Like this kid's pumping gas, 93, dude, and then he's got movement as well. I mean, in high school, my last game when we were against Northwest Lauderdale, and I think they've won like 20-something state championships. But Mississippi is known for baseball, man. We've got the best athletes in the world.
I mean, fun fact for you, this episode's about you, but our next guest is actually from Tupelo, went to the state championship and is now a national champion for Ole Miss, Hunter Elliott. So that's why we know. So that's why we know.
Yeah, heck yeah, that's great. But yeah, I loved baseball, man. It was my thing until I met Jamie, and then I kind of fell in love with football. Like, I've always been a physical guy. I've always been a kind of fighter. Like Brandon said, I've fought in kindergarten. I fought in middle school. I fought in high school. I fought at just about every bar that there was in between during college. So I'm always down to throw bombs. But where I'm from, like MMA or jiu-jitsu, like I never heard of it. You know what I mean? I've always watched it on TV, you know, and like my stepdad, Mike, he got me into it when we were watching Vitor Belfort just pummel this guy with 30 punches in like 30 seconds. Or less than 30 seconds, 10 seconds. I mean, caved his face, looked like he hit him with an axe. But anyways, I've always been interested in fighting, but it started with football. I played college ball, went to East Mississippi, and then I went to Murray State, and then I lost the drive for it. Made a lot of bad decisions as well. I was trying to find myself more so than provide for my future, I guess I'd say. But always had an itch for it. But after college football, I liked working out, and I've always been pretty strong, and I really like pushing weights and picking things up and putting them down, and like anything that has to do with, physical activity, I'm in for it. But I was doing bodybuilding for a little bit. I injured my back, and then I met a guy named Jamie Houston, who changed my life when it came to. I think it changed my life in overall, because once I met martial arts, it was just, it's been my path. I should have been in on the whole time, man, to be honest.
So it's crazy to me how you guys, you have a itch to fight and just be physical, but yet like the one sport that I feel like could lend itself to being a really good fighter, which is wrestling, you guys, Brandon, you chose it later in high school, and Trevor, you decided you weren't going to do that at all. You were just going to do football.
Yeah.
And I would have never picked him for a baseball player, Daniel. I would have thought football all the way.
I got to go a different direction there, Trevor. So you went to East Mississippi Community College. For those that don't know, that's Last Chance U. So you went Last Chance U and then made bad decisions after that. Usually it goes the other way.
No, I mean, come on. So Coach Stevens told us, he told me, he's like, son, he's like, there's one thing we're going to do down here, and we're going to win football championships. And that's one thing that we always do. Under Coach Stevens, we're always going to win championships. I got jewelry in the jewelry box over there, or behind me in my master bed. But he said, you can do two things when you come to East Mississippi. There's not a lot to do, but you can find God or you can find the devil. And I partied a little bit more with the devil.
Fair enough. But I've heard you talk about the coach there, though. You talk, and a lot of people don't. They see what they see on TV, but I've seen you speak about him, and it was very highly you spoke of him.
Oh yeah, I love. There's people who are going to like you. There's going to be people who are not going to like you. Okay. And that's just life. All right. I learned that out a long time ago. There's a lot of people who don't like me just because I have a little bit of confidence, or just because I like to talk, or just because whatever, and that's for a lot of people. But I'll tell you one thing, as coach, he would always he'll do anything for you. Like you see him cussing you out, dropping GD, dropping the F-bombs, all this. He's getting in your ass. But hey, people that don't do that, they don't care about you. Okay. He wants to get the best out of you every single down. Win every single down you can. Be the best you possibly can be. And that's what he preached, and that's why we're champions. Like you have to expect a lot out of someone to be the best. But also you have to do a lot. You get to expect a lot, but you also have to push them to that expectation. You can't let them be docile. You gotta be aggressive about it. That's my approach on it.
Our coach cussed us out. We still sucked.
Yeah. Well, East Mississippi is different.
Definitely
went to Murray State, and I was just like, I kind of was. No disrespect, but I was just like, dang, I'm dropping down a degree. Like I'm used to these big D1 boys, and no disrespect to Murray State. Great athletes out there. We definitely put some guys in the NFL, but I'm here to tell you, my boys at East Mississippi would wax the floor with any Division I AA school. Just line them up. I swear. I went against the Nico Autry every single day. You guys know who Nico Autry is?
Of course.
Quentin Dial. Like, get out of here. Quentin Dial looks like the green mile. He's the man. Dude is an amazing human being also, but he will freaking crush you.
Well, Daniel, Randy, y'all said, you talking about the sports you'd expect them to play. Not everybody can have the Trey Manley story, right? Like his football, end of the season party, and the dads just decide that they're going to have a fighting ring with their players. And then Trey ends up knocking everybody's ass out. And then next thing you know, somebody's saying, hey, this kid's doing the wrong thing. He needs to be a fighter.
I think it's because Trey was so little. He felt like he had to. You know what I'm saying? And he was so pretty too. He's still so pretty.
Story best, Randy was he was the pastor's son, and the pastor showed up and was like, "What the hell are y'all doing with my son?"
Right.
Hey, Trey's one of the greatest coaches. I mean, he is an amazing guy. He's my striking coach. He's my sensei. Like, he's taught me a lot when it comes to
Trey's the man.
Striking.
But he's getting hurt. We get excited to watch him fight just so he can get hurt.
Dude, I'm excited to see him so I can see someone else get hurt. Like, he's a Tom bomb, and then whenever he gets in there,
it's going down.
Hurt himself here recently.
I'm just trying not to be kicked by Trey.
No, listen, Trevor. So we
hit by Trey, bro.
The last time that he fought, we sponsored him, and I was like, "Wait, hold up, where's our picture gonna go?" He's like, "I mean, it can go on my shorts," and I'm like, "I don't want to be on your junk, bro. Like, I mean, there's 3 pictures, care. 3 dudes. I mean, it's whatever. Well, you know, hey, put us where you want us."
Was his last fight the one where we did sponsor? Because that's where he snapped dude's leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Mitchell.
Well, yeah, I bet the dude wishes he would have snapped.
Yeah.
Trey's amazing, man.
So coming back around to you, Brandon, man, you know, obviously you're a pro fighter now, but, you know, you start as an amateur, you know, how many fights, how long does it take before you realize that you're definitely not an amateur, that you're a pro level fighter?
When you stop finding people to fight in the region, really, you know what I mean? Like, I got to a point when I was an amateur, because I had a completely different career outside of this, like doing housing policy and law and blight elimination for the city and the county and the state. So I kind of had that train going, but I absolutely loved MMA. And it got to a point where it's like, you know, you either need to take a dump or get off the pot, you know what I mean? And Jason, shout out to Jason Cage Man Aldridge, the man who with the slap heard around the world. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that video. Jason was just like, hey man, I think you're really talented, and I think it's time to take it to the next level. But you got to dedicate a little bit more to it in order to do that. And I was, you know, he's a good bit bigger than me, and I started to really give him trouble. You know, this is a couple years back. And Jason's like my brother now, so I really I take his advice to heart. And he was like, you know, I think you can do this. So that was pretty much it right there. I knew when he said that it was time to go, that it was time to go.
So on the come up, when we talk to most fighters, they have an amateur fight though that stands out to them, whether, you know, it's just something that made them overall better, or maybe it's just because they beat the brakes off somebody and they realized to your point, it's time to move up. Was there an amateur fight that was like your favorite, the one that just stands out to you most?
Man, I remember really my first amateur fight was really eye-opening for me. You know, I had fights before, but I fought this guy named Erdelucci. His last name was Erdelucci. Forgive me for forgetting his name, but he was a Marine. And so, you know, they're built different. And I beat the brakes off of this guy. He doesn't mind me saying this. I beat the brakes off this guy, and he would not give up. I'm talking about, like, his blood was everywhere. I mean, you can go back and watch it. If you look up Brandon Gaitor debut war with Attitude MMA, actually. I beat the brakes off this kid, and he just would not give up. He would not knock out. I hit him with uppercuts, ground and pound. His nose was broken. His jaw, I think, was broken. His eye was swollen up, and he just kept fighting, man.
You thought you were gonna have to kill him, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was like it was getting to the point to where I was like, I don't know if the ref is doing their job right now, because I'm beating this guy, but he kept coming back. So shout out to him. You know, I won all 3 rounds, but that was one that really stood out to me. Another one that stood out to me was I never remember their first name, but it was this guy named Bombastic down in Mississippi.
What a name.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, he was down in Mississippi with SFC, and
Wes is his name.
Huh?
Wes Bostic.
That's it. Wes Bostic. Shout out to him. And he was, you know, we were going for the championship belt, the 155 title. And I was going through a lot at that moment, man. Like, I had some family stuff going on, I had some personal stuff going on. And I knew I was coming into enemy territory. I knew it was kind of his home. And we went in there, and I got my my first round finish. You know, I was just kind of pissed off. I didn't care. People were they were upset when, you know, we were coming out, they were throwing beer at us and stuff like that. But it ended in a quick, took him down, elbowed some 12-6 to the ribs, because you can do that in Mississippi. And I wanted to be nasty that night, caught him in a good darce and put him to sleep.
Really quick too.
Yeah.
Mr. Lover. I'm Mr. Lover.
That's Shaggy, baby.
I was like, well, all of a sudden I started hearing the tune. I was like, what's he doing right now?
Hey, real quick for the next question, Brandon, the first time I can ever remember you fighting, it was a V3 fight. And I'll be honest, I was at all the V3 fights, but this one I was at was because a guy that everybody knows now is Bryce Mitchell was like the main card or whatever. And I forget the guy that you were fighting, but you won. I think y'all won all 3 rounds this time. Was it Ryan? I don't remember who it was. That was the first time I remember seeing you fight, though. It was like in 2014, 15.
Oh man, yeah. Was it a redhead kid, like a ginger kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have souls, so I didn't know if you were going to beat him or not.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Ginger kid, I love it. So, you know, for those who aren't familiar, you know, we talk about your amateur career. You get to pro. Who's your first pro fight against? Where's it at? You know, set up the stage. Tell me the fight. What was going on?
Yeah, man. My first pro fight. Forgive me, I get hit in the head a lot. What was that kid's name, man? Long-haired guy, V3 fights.
Alexander Riggs.
So you guys know it.
Yeah, got it, dude.
Look at that.
It was a V3, man. I told you I was V3.
Yep, Randy. Yep, you did it.
Yep.
You did it. Yep. It was Alex Riggs, man. He was a tough kid. He was, you know, as a 55er, I'm actually pretty small for a 55er. You know, when
that
you get
kid in the cafeteria that took the hip toss.
You know, no, but seriously though, like at 55, a lot of these guys are cutting down from like 185, 190 to 55. I walk around like 165, 170, but I like fighting the bigger boys. I really do. Coach right now, Brian Hall, shout out to him. He's telling me to go down to 45, but I'm like, maybe I'll lift some weights.
That's just because he can do that. Doesn't mean everybody needs to do that.
Yeah. And I fought at 45, you know, I like it. I think I'm a lot stronger than people there. But I do like taking on the bigger competition. But to answer your question, man, walking through that fight, I knew going in as my first pro fight that it was gonna be it was gonna be one that was like a catalyst for me to see kind of where I was. And I really enjoy when I get somebody on the ground and they can't get up, and just to see them melt, man, like to see their face just be like, shit, I can't go anywhere. So and I drown them, you know what I mean? Hit them with the ground and pound. And you know,
dark stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Got some deep dark stuff going on right
Yeah,
now.
man, it's something about it, man. It really is. Like, because you know he's there to take your lunch. You know what I mean? It's like that guy that I hip toss. He's there to take.
I'm on the dole machine right now, boy.
Right now, man. I want that apple juice, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, he either gets the apple juice or I get the apple juice, and I'm not leaving there thirsty. So
what's that feeling like, man? First pro fight, you come out with a W. Like, I mean, for a guy like you, like it seems like it's kind of like maybe not a big deal. You're on to business. You're already probably thinking next fight. But I mean, are you ecstatic? You know, first pro fight, you got the dub.
absolutely, man. I was very happy. I remember actually at that fight, I was trying to park before we went into the building. I think it was at Minglewood, and I was parking, and there was these guys that were saying, "Hey, you got to give us $20 to park here," and they were just hustling. And so I was basically like, "No, man, I'm parking here and you ain't gonna do nothing." He's like, "We're gonna tow your car." I was like, "You tow my car, I'm gonna tow your face." You know what I'm saying? And Jason's right there. My coach, Jason Aldridge, right there. He's like, wait, Gaitor. The fight's later on tonight." And so we're outside, and I was like, that guy kind of started talking smart. So we I put my dukes up, and Jason was like, "Hey, man, he has a fight tonight. You don't want to do this." And we ended up finding out that the guy was a hustler, and they ended up calling the cops on him. But man, I was amped already, ready to go. So afterwards, when I left out of the fight, I went back outside to make sure my car was good, and I was looking for that same guy. So I was looking for another fight, man.
I'm gonna go 2-0 on the night.
Yes, sir.
I heard that. So, if I got the record right off Tapology, it's got you at 3-3. But
Yep.
you've talked about bouncing around divisions. Is that partially because of what you said? You want to take on the tougher competition. You're willing to to take on guys who, you know, bounce around weight, or you move into weight classes? You know, how are we getting to 3-3? Because based upon everything I've been told from any source that I've talked to, because I haven't been able to see you fight, you're the real deal. But yeah, we're sitting here at 500. So how are we there?
Yeah, for sure, man. That's all me and my training and me being overzealous. Like, I'll say two things. For me, and my fight that I had with Jose Perez, where he rear naked choked me in that first round. I went into that fight knowing in my head that the first thing that I threw, I was gonna knock him out with, which is disrespectful to the game, man. You know what I mean? So I had trained really hard for it. And I had visualized it so much in my head that as soon as this fight comes out, you know, I knew he was a wrestler. So I thought the first thing he was gonna do was shoot, right? But I think he faked the shot. And so when he faked it, I threw this big jumping knee and overextended myself. He went back and kind of pulled my arm down. I slipped on you can go back and watch, I slipped on one of the decals, tried to get back up, and he's so good and quick. He went around and that was all she wrote. So a lot of times where I feel like where I've lost something, that's been my mistake. And then you know, being too overzealous. And then also I will say this, a little bit of hubris in my training. So at the time, I didn't have a lot of bodies where I was smashing everybody in the gym. You know what I mean? And that's not a place as a fighter that you want to be, because your iron gets dull there. You know, you're smashing everybody. You're the best person in the gym. So I really didn't have the bodies that I needed where I was. So it came to a precipice where I was like, man, I'm not able to get the rounds that I need. I need to do something. I started having to cross train a lot more. And again, like you said, and I appreciate it, Randy. You said, you know, you've heard a lot of people say, hey, Gaitor's the real deal. And I appreciate that, but I think I have a lot of ways to go, and I will give a lot. I'll tip my hat to Brian Hall, because over this last year, really, that I've been at law school MMA, my game has grown tremendously.
Well, like, I was gonna say, you know, you talk about the mistakes you've made, and it's funny because you talk about the shots to the head, and you know, people think about it just as a physical game. But I remember we had Jaleel Willis on right after he had lost a fight, and Randy, what'd you say? He absolutely lit that dude up, but he came on talking about it. But you said when he stroked him, like, I mean, he was absolutely stunned. But Jaleel had been coached to not go in on him and get close to the ground. And Jaleel said he couldn't help himself after he stuck him. He went in to go to do it.
Overzealous.
He got overzealous. That's
he even said it. He's like, I could hear my coach yelling, "Don't fucking do it! Don't fucking do it!" And I fucking did it.
And so that's why when Brandon said that, I knew exactly what he was talking about, because you know you can prepare, and then you get in there, and then you just have that one lapse moment, and that could be the difference in the fight.
Exactly. Composure really plays a lot, has a lot of weight inside of these fights. Like, you can be the best athlete, you can have the best striking, you can have all of this, but if you don't have composure, you don't have wherewithal and ring awareness and being able to really tame the animal and the beast of adrenaline that you're drunk off of at that time, it can really cost you, man. So I feel like every single person that may have a victory over me, I feel like I'm better than them. I really do.
So win or loss out of those 6 fights, what do you feel like is the fight that, you know, was the most complete? You felt like you've learned the most, you know, of those that have prepared you to where you're at now?
And why was it Jesse James Wallace fight?
What'd you say? Yeah, exactly. Right. Hey, you already know, Randy.
Yeah.
Definitely it was the Jesse James Wallace fight, because a lot of people counted me out in that fight. You know, he was just coming off of the Contender Series.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people were looking to fight him locally, you know, and I know, you know, he wanted to kind of get back in there and get some wins under his belt, you know, and I'm a good fight. But if you looked at the tail of the tape, looking at the people that he's fought, the arenas he's fought on, including Bellator at that time, and having that, I think was it a submission or a knockout at Bellator?
Yeah.
That a lot of people didn't want to touch him, and a lot of people wouldn't take that fight. I'm crazy. I'll go and fight I'll fight a heavyweight. I kid you not. Like if they pay me the right money, I'll go and I'll fight a heavyweight.
Trevor, you're next.
Line it up.
Yeah, man. But I'll tell you this.
I keep comparing guys that I do know. Rambo tells me that all the time. Whoever, whenever, however, he's ready.
Rambo's the dude that Brandon's talking about, though, that walks around at 190 and then cuts.
Yeah, Rambo. That's what me and Rambo used to meet up, man. We used to meet up.
Unsanctioned fights.
Pretty much. Like we used to meet at this guy's house.
Oh, y'all went to church service at Purple Diamond?
Nah.
Got steaks on the house.
Yeah.
No, we would meet up and fight in somebody's living room. We'd take all the furniture and put it to the back and roll out the mats and get busy, man. But about the Jesse James Wallace fight, one of the ways I trained for that, because I knew he was a jiu-jitsu artist. And I honestly thought, at the time, I was like, man, I think my jiu-jitsu is better than his, And to this day, I think that the same. I got much respect for him. I think he's a legend around here, man. Like he pioneered a lot for people that there's different ways to win. And you ain't got to be this big, like super macho, muscly guy to get these epic wins, man. And but one of the ways I trained for it was at LA Fitness at the time. I trained holding my breath. So I would swim in the pool, and then I get to the end, and I time myself for how long I could hold my breath, because I figured it was a matter of time before he either got those legs around me or got those arms around me, and I was gonna have to fight through it. So I got my time up to like 4 minutes and something, which I thought was pretty crazy. And that's what that's the majority of that second round y'all saw, man.
Damn, 4 minutes.
It was an awesome fight, though.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jesse for the great fight, for the great competition.
Shout out.
Shout out for making me. I've always felt good about getting up to 2 minutes. This man just doubled me up like it was nothing.
But it was I wasn't at 4 minutes, immediately. It was like every day I'm in the pool, holding it as long as I can.
And go humble all you want. 4 minutes. I don't care if you trained for 3 years doing it. But coming around to you, Trevor, same thing, man. At what point, you're fighting amateur and you realize, man, I'm ready to go pro. How did it play out for you?
Well, man, that was my from the get-go. It was I'm either gonna, like he said earlier, I call it shit and get. Like you either let's do this thing or let's not. And I didn't really want to play around with it. I was 27 at the time as soon as I started fighting. So I was just like, hey, get these fights out of the way. And you run into a wall, when people are most of my fights are finishes, so a lot of people don't want to get risk getting brain damage for $400 on some tickets they sold. You know what I'm saying? So it's in the heavyweight division as well. It's not as like Brandon and them. They got a million people at 155 that are badasses. Like it's really hard. You got to be on your P's and Q's there. And then the heavyweight division, you watch it and you can be the most skilled guy in the ring and still get knocked out because from like a butterbean guy, you know what I'm saying? So I've always wanted to, when I started, I was like, I'm going to do this professionally. I'm going to train for 2 years and then I'm going to turn pro. So, and that's kind of what I did.
Who was your favorite amateur fight? And I hope because of the way you're talking about these, just knocking folks out, tell me it was quick and just devastating.
See, the only thing that you like, you don't learn anything when you win. If you ask me, you got to learn something when you lose. So I would say my losses, I learn more from them than anything, or those are the things I remember most is when I lose. Because I hate losing, and but those are one of the things that pushed me the furthest. And Anthony Daughtery, or they call him Ant, he caught me one time as an amateur, but I got to beat him. I got to return the favor as a pro. But let's see, I guess, man, I had a hip flexor injury, and I fought this guy. And he grappled me for the whole first round. And in amateur, we only go for 3 minutes. So if you're grappling with somebody, dude, it's gonna take up the whole freaking round. And I think I got like four piece off, and this dude just put me up against the fence.
A
And
piss
then
off, didn't
and then like I kind of hurt my hip flexor in the process of kind of defending this shit. And he eventually got me down. I reversed it and got on top. And like I threw it, like I was like, dude, my hip is fucking hurting, man. It was hurting so bad, excuse the language, but it was hurting so bad. And I heard the click, clack, clack, and I threw up an ankle lock to finish it, and it didn't. And I crawled back to the corner like a little bitch. And then my coach got into my ass, Andy. Shout out to Andy. And I call him the Grim, but Andy got in my ass. He's like, you can worry about that tomorrow. Quit being a little bitch, blah, blah, blah. He's like, don't you quit on me. He's like, you're being a pussy, blah, 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 this and
I
that.
mean, you showed up to fight with an injury. I don't think there's nothing
well,
about you.
I mean, that's the point. Like, it doesn't matter, you know. Like, I torched a guy in 42 seconds with a boxing fracture in my right thumb. So getting hurt doesn't matter. I played on the line, so hurt doesn't bother us. But I guess like right after that, that was actually my last amateur fight. But I came out and it was against Tavares. I think his name is Tavares, and like Andy was, you know, made me feel like I was bitch made. So I came out, I threw the injured leg, and I landed I call it a T-bomb, atomic T-bomb on him, and that was it. Down to the face of the mat, dripped in blood, and got up and grabbed my sack and walked off. So that was probably the most exciting thing.
Randy, like they keep struggling to remember names. I'm going to tell you right now, and maybe it's because we don't fight like these dudes. Randy, I'm keeping everybody's name listed that I beat their ass. I'm telling you right now, I ain't never forgetting.
Hey,
no
I just
doubt.
snap necks and cash checks, baby. It doesn't
There
matter.
you go. So like you said, as a heavyweight, man, you're now 4-2 in your pro career. You know, like I asked Brandon, kind of going through the same thing, man. What was it like that first fight? You know, you said you always knew that you were going to end up there. You probably were more than ready to be there. So talk to me through that first fight. Who was against? Where was that? All that stuff.
So like I was saying, Anthony Daughtery, he kind of took my mojo, and I've been still trying to get my mojo back after that. Like he threw the most bullshit punch and it landed, and it felt like a horse kicked me in the side of the face. And I stumbled getting up, and I still want to slap Eric McMahon to this day because he called the fight a little early, but it's all good. I love him. He's my brother. But anyways, as a man, you always want to keep fighting. But Anthony Daughtery, this dude is freak show athlete. After he hit me as amateur, this dude hit a freaking full black back tuck. He weighed 242, which, I mean, yeah, he's chemically enhanced, but still, this guy was pushing some power. Okay. And so when I fought him, I knew it. I was like, if I lose this fight, I'm through. Because if I can't beat this juice head, this junkie, or not junkie, but just, you know, like this loser. I'm sorry. But I get a little offensive here.
Speak your truth, brother.
Speak your truth.
Either way, if I can't beat this character, then I shouldn't be doing this. And I knew I was going in there against a monster, man. This dude was so strong, so powerful, so explosive. But I just wanted him to know that he wasn't going to get Trev, not that night. And I let him exchange with me a couple times, and I took him down, and I was about to take his pride, and he gave up. So that was the start of my.
Legend has it he hasn't fought since. I mean, I don't.
He hasn't. No. He's
You put him into retirement, Trevor?
Hey, if he wants to come back, I'll do the same.
I heard that.
Oh God.
So I mean, I'm having trouble believing that might not be your favorite fight. But so out of your
no.
Of your 6 fights, is that your favorite, or do you got one that's even better?
I mean, I don't have a favorite fight so far. I fought some trash cans until I got to the LFA, and then so like, I mean, I can smash trash cans all day out in the yard if I want to, but and I did that in the bars in college. But so no really exciting fight for me. I mean, I've knocked some guys out, but like I said, any heavyweight can do that. But I mean, I've got some exciting fights, but Nothing to.
Hey, if I get enough drinks in me, Trevor, I'm gonna give you that fight that you're looking for. I ain't no damn.
Let's do it, baby.
Go, bro.
Actually, Trevor, me and Daniel will throw in, and we'll give you more than 400 if you want to.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I will
Hey, what
double
about the
that
small guy
400.
over here, man?
Well, look, I mean, I think you're a little too fast for Jim. But anyways, Brandon, since you said that, we're gonna go into you. So obviously, you got a fight coming up. It's August 27th, right? So you're 12 days out.
Yes, sir.
Against Dontel Henson. So when did you get the opponent that you were fighting? How long have you known?
About a week ago.
Okay. But you talk about it. You're in the gym every day. You're doing your thing. But when do you really lock in and start prepping for this opponent?
Like before I even hear, for this opponent specifically?
Yeah.
As soon as
or you just play your game?
Yeah, I mean, I play my game, but I'm always in the gym. Like I'm in the when other people have fights, I'm in the gym more than them in most cases. You know what I mean? And so what Coach Hall has been telling me is like, at where you're at in your career, you really want to be the hardest worker. You want to be the one who's in the gym all the time, training outside of the gym. And especially being a pro and being more of a leader inside of the gym, I got to be there. So what was your question? I forget what you said.
Yeah, just how. Yeah, no, you really answered it. It's all good. So I was going to actually talk to you about it. You mentioned, Brian Hall. I saw Brian fight for a long time when he was with MBJJ. Obviously, starts his own thing. And you talked about iron sharpens iron. Obviously, the law school is one of the most respected gyms, in the city now. But just talk about what it's like to fight with that talent in the city, especially at that gym when guys that run it have done it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's the environment, man. It's the environment breeds this culture of not just brotherhood, but like when we bleed, we laugh. You know what I mean? When
because y'all are a little crazy, Brandon.
Yeah, man. And also like I don't know if you go to my Instagram, little plug, shout out Gladiator_B Gaitor Gaitor.
Dang, you beat Daniel to his part.
Oh, we're gonna get to your plug in a minute.
I gotta drop it. But look,
that's never happened, Brandon, in freaking 160 episodes. How you gonna beat him to the plug?
Hey man, you gotta self-promote, man.
It's all good.
But look, at law school MMA, man, we don't have any heat. We don't have any air. So when it's 100 degrees outside, it's 120 in there. And it's 20 guys, 20, 30 guys in there going at it, sweating.
So when you talked about smelling the opponents, you got some practice.
Seriously, man. Like I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like I had to rush from practice because coach wouldn't let me leave early to do this podcast. And so I haven't showered. I smell like 10 guys, 20 guys right now. So
nah, it's all good. So for those that don't know, obviously a little familiar with it myself, never to you guys level or anything like that, but that don't understand the preparation that goes into that think guys just show up at a pay-per-view event on Saturday night. What does that preparation look like for you on a daily basis, Brandon?
Yeah, on a daily basis, I'll say it starts with going to sleep at a good time at night, because like recovery is key, man. Like a lot of us, we break our bodies so damn much. We get hit in the head. In jiu-jitsu, our joints and our hands and our elbows and stuff get inflamed. And then, some of these guys, they're not disciplined. So they'll go home and they'll party and they'll kick it and they'll smoke and they'll drink. Whereas like when I get home, I got two little ones, man. Like I'm already tired by the time I get to the gym. You know what I mean?
True.
So by the time I get home, I got to drink my sleepy time tea, take my melatonin, and take my butt to sleep. Because if not, then everything I did that day is for naught. You know what I'm saying? So it starts out there. Then, eating well. I'm really big on eating well. My wife is a horticulturalist and a botanist. So we grow a lot of our own, fruits and veggies in the backyard. I got chickens, that I get my own eggs from. So every morning I'm out there feeding my chickens and they're clucking and annoying the shit out of my neighbors. So yeah, it starts there. It starts before you even hit the gym. And that's it.
Yeah, man. So when you talk about keys to success and you talked about, staying within yourself and trusting the process and the training, what do you think the key is for you on the 27th to take away a W from this fight?
I really think I'm good anywhere, man. We have a set game plan, but I think anywhere where it goes, I'm better in this situation. This fight was actually for my boy Chase, man, but he got in a little situation to where he wouldn't be able to take this fight. And we wanted to keep that check on the home team. You know what I'm saying? So I told him I'll go ahead and get that W for him. If it stays standing, I'll take it. If it goes to the ground, he's gonna drown. And I'll either have his neck I'll break something, you know, if he doesn't tap. But I think wherever it goes, it's money for me, baby. And you know, like Trevor said though, like in these 4-ounce gloves, everybody has a puncher's chance, man. And like, so you have to respect the game at every level. And that's one thing that I've learned going into this, that no matter how hard you train, no matter how much preparation that you put in there, it just takes one shot to end the night and the night to go the wrong way. So man, I keep my prayers and I do everything that I can.
Well, Brandon, I'm gonna tell you, Randy's been trying to get me to go to these fights all the time for years. I'm actually going because Scotty wanted to invite me to come. And so anyway, if you let me down, I'll be pissed off.
I'm gonna tell I got you though, Brandon. If Brandon, by some fluke chance you do lose, Jim said he'll fight you right after.
You're right.
Okay, word.
You can get a W. We want to make you
just think about the apple juice, Brandon. My man likes juice.
But look, I'll tell you this. I do want it to be violent. I really want it to be violent. Like I have a craving for if we're gonna go in there and we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna sacrifice all of this time with my kids and with my wife, and I'm at the gym all the time. I could be. These are precious moments. I have a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So like every time I'm at the gym, that's moments that I'm not with them. Like I just missed. You know, right now doing the podcast, I miss putting them to sleep. My wife put them down. So there's so many sacrifices, and I'd be damned if I don't get that whole cake.
If it goes to waste.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No doubt. Well, look, we're going to come back and talk to you in a minute, but Trevor, I got to get to you in a minute talking about your preparation. So, you know, something I didn't bring up to Brandon, Rampage Jackson going to be in the house, right? For Attitude MMA. We had him in the house a few times for V3. So him in the house, that don't put no extra pressure on you guys, does it?
I could care less. You got fat. No, I'm just kidding. No, what's up, Rampage?
Rampage.
What's up, Rampage Jackson, dude? Mr. Knock your cock off, dude's a ball.
That boy gonna come in there wearing a chain.
Dude, yeah. Woo, woo.
You know, all the things we talk about, Randy, with me fighting people and stupid stuff. One time when we was at Club 152 and he was in the VIP at the same time as me. Anyway, look, no, I actually no. Say anything, Daniel. Dude, I didn't have a beef or anything. Look, I was being propositioned because people know that I'm dumb enough that I'll do it. Anyway, I was getting offered lots of money to just go take him on. The only reason I didn't do it wasn't because I might end up in a coma. It was actually because I just didn't want to go to jail that night.
You know, yeah. I don't know if that would have been your biggest problem. But anyway, no. So Trevor,
my friend spilled a bottle of champagne on Rampage's shoe at a bar. I'm not gonna name names, but it kind of got a little out of hand.
Got a little heated. You saying there was maybe some 2 pieces thrown? I'm just saying.
No. He was just. I don't think he was wanting to fight Rampage, but Rampage was not. He was not polite.
Damn. You know what? When you see him, you talk to him about that shit on the 27th.
I'm gonna get his ass. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just.
So how long have you known that you're gonna fight Terrence Hodges?
So me and Matt, or I told Matt I wanted to fight right after my last defeat. I fought a really good guy. He's a good wrestler. I just wish I wouldn't have made mistakes. But I knew I was gonna fight him. I guess it was a month or a month and a half out. I guess something like that. I mean, I fought in June on June the 3rd, and then I was like, "Yo, let's get a fight. And so it was probably we had to get it cleared, and then because I'm under contract with LFA, so we had to get it cleared by them, and luckily they was going to let me spin down here instead of going across the country. So, but I found out and just been ready to go. But I'm just like Brandon. I learned probably the biggest lesson was from my first pro loss against Bubba Grant, and totally took it for granted. Thought I was just going to show up and, you know, split his wig. But, you know, if you don't bring the cardio to play, you're gonna drown really quick.
Was that a big adjustment? And I'll ask you first, Trevor. But when you obviously you're training longer than the 3 minutes, but when you go from the 3-minute rounds, 3 threes to the 5-minute rounds, is that a big adjustment for you, Trevor?
Dude, like the pace situation, like I have a kickboxer or striker pace. I like to go fast. I like to put a lot of volume on you. You know, I like to throw. You know, and also I've only gone I think full I went 9 minutes one time. That's 3 threes as a amateur against Osha Johnson. That was fresh off of Disney World with my wife. So, and we just, we was tearing up Epcot and everything. So I was not in shape for that, and I thought I was gonna die. But anyways, dude, 5 minutes is just, you gotta, like, people think it's just brute. No, it's mental. This game's mental, and if you're not in there using your mental, you're gonna get swept. Like, you're gonna get swept off your feet. You're gonna get your pride taken from you, and you got to have your preparation right. And you can't overlook anybody, no matter who they are or what their name is.
Even if they're trash cans.
Even if they're trash cans, because I mean, Bubba Grant, no trash can. Great, he's veteran, multiple time, pro champion. But like, I definitely didn't want to fight him. I was overlooking him, and he whipped my ass. He won. Like I stuck him with the jab, and I was like, oh, here we go again. I'm about to knock this guy out in 30 seconds, and I blew everywhere. Blew it. Pre-came all over the floor. You know what I'm saying? Terrible.
So obviously, for those that don't know, tell everybody where you train at.
Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu. I love the place. It's I was told by Jamie Houston, he's like, dude, that's where I started. He's like, they got the best jiu-jitsu, and that's where I'm lacking. I think I'm kind of gifted when it comes to stand up. I mean, I can swing and bang with the best. I think I can knock anybody out, no matter who they are, when I'm in condition, when I'm in shape, and I'm ready to fight. I'm a head case most of the time, so like, I gotta get my mind right, and people are like, dang, this guy's got, but anyways, like, you gotta be mentally prepared for it. And like, that's the thing. It's just, you gotta have your mentals about you, bro. You gotta have
absolutely. But you got a lot of great fighters that come out of that gym, and also great coaches. Dude. You mentioned Andy, you mentioned Combs, Trey Manley.
Exactly. We got national champions. We got world champion jiu-jitsu players. Jaleel also is over there with us. Jacob Noe, old head, he will knock you out.
Psycho.
Oh yeah, Jacob, that's my boy.
There.
When that dude came out and he had the straight jacket on, everybody thought it was an act. I'm like, no, like that dude's legit. Like, it's
yeah. And that's the thing. Like, people, like, they might say age or something. Age doesn't matter. I think Noe's close to 40 and he'll still whoop your ass.
Noe is our exact age, 38, and he will fight right now. Like tonight, right, you call him up, I'll fight. Oh, okay, sure.
If you're sleeping on him, he'll put you to sleep in a matter of minutes. Like, it's not good. But dude, a host of great people there. We got a lot of black belts on the mat at all times. Like, I did start at with Jay McIntosh, but honestly, I started MMA when I got to Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu. Like, I learned how to wrestle. I learned how to not get my ass whooped by getting my ass whooped. I've been the nail for a long time there, when it comes to the mat, because it's all about mat time, man. And yes, I'm a purple belt now, and I'm the hammer too. But like, when you're going against the dogs there, like, these guys have just skill set that's kind of unmatched, and it's a great camp. We got great strikers in there. Trey Manley's our striking coach, and I'm telling you, he's brought all the goods from American Top Team in South Florida. He's brought all the goods up here, and he's putting them on display, and I'm going to put it on display on the 27th. So
no, absolutely, but
dude, anywhere, whether what category you want to ask about, I feel like Memphis Judo Jiu-Jitsu has it. We got judo there too. We got wrestling. We got jiu-jitsu. We got boxing. I just love the gym. Dave Ferguson also, him and Eric, they both gave me an opportunity as soon as I got here. I didn't have a job, didn't have much of nothing, and they let me, be a fitness instructor there. I love both those guys. Shout out to Memphis Jiu-Jitsu, Dave, Eric, y'all my boys. Love you guys.
Shout out, Dave.
Yeah, he's the man.
So specifically, real quick, talking about your preparation, obviously you're a heavyweight, so we're not as much worried about maybe cutting the weight, but talking about prepping, when do you get really locked in and start game planning and really lock into where you want to be on fight day?
Well, so like I said, after the Bubba Grant fight, Andy and I, we left Oklahoma right after that fight and drove home. It was like a 7-hour drive, and we had a few things, and not much to say, but just a few things. And one thing I took out of it was his like, I got it all, I feel, and I feel like my coaches think the same thing. But he was like, you need to start treating yourself as a supercar instead of a fucking farm truck. You know what I mean? So, and I've kind of started taking that into account. When I fought Bubba, I was like 257. I was jacked, strong. I mean, I'm always strong. There's strength's not going to go where it's just in my blood. So I have to get in shape. I have to be able to go all 5 rounds, and that's not what I was prepping to do. What I wanted to do is I wanted to run through guys in 30 seconds to a minute. I wanted it to be a bar fight, but this is not a bar fight. And like, I'll beat anybody's ass in a bar fight, but we're talking about MMA. We're talking about 15 minutes. And I've changed my preparation from that fight. It's like, hey, let's be let's drown everybody. Let's make everybody quit. Let's break them. Let's not break their bones. Let's break their mind. And that's where you really, that's the funnest thing, is when you're crossing someone and he thinks that he thinks that he's the man you are, and you get to prove it to him that he's not. And that's the thing that I really like, is just breaking somebody, showing them that I'm the man. But
no, absolutely.
But the preparation is nonstop. Like Brandon said, you train all the time. You got to put in skill training, but most importantly is cardio. You can talk about bench pressing and shit. Well, blah, blah, blah. I bench pressed like 430 pounds back in the day. Can't do that now, but I guarantee you this, I will whip my ass back then right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no doubt.
The bench don't matter. It's fun, but it doesn't matter. And it's all about preparation, as in technical.
We'll find out if you lose your fight.
Exactly. Yeah, we will. We'll definitely find out, but I don't expect that to happen.
I don't expect that either. I got a question for you, just on a personal level. I'm going to go to you in a second with the same question, Brandon. Trevor, how, because Brandon talked about this, and a lot of guys, what people don't realize is that you guys are pros, but maybe they don't see you on the UFC card or Bellator, so they don't know nothing about it. So how do you balance the family life? You mentioned you have a wife, and then there's kids involved. How do you balance having, like, not say real jobs, but also the fight game? Is it passion? Is it something that we're trying to, how do you balance that? Because I can hardly balance. I got 4 fucking kids in a job, and I'm all out of time. Like, how the hell I do this?
Dude, it's hard, man. It's really hard. And especially for me, like, I'm fortunate enough, I have an amazing wife, and she's an amazing.
You better say that.
Yeah. And luckily, as of right now, my last fight, I told her, it's like, she's always had my back, and she's always believed in me, and she's always let me follow my dreams. And not every woman's going to let you do that. But I've had various different jobs, along my time in life, but it's very hard to have a stable living situation when everything around you is unstable. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta get training in when you gotta get training in. And as of right now, my last fight, I quit, and I was like, had an opportunity to be on the Ultimate Fighter this past season, and I was passed up on. And after my wife and I watched one of the seasons of it, she was like, "Though you picked those guys over you," and I was like, "Yeah, it is what it is." And she was like, "But you're better than them." And I was like, "Well, I think I am too, but you just have to look. I just got beat by Bubba Grant, and it was kind of."
Did you have the mustache then?
Oh no, I don't think I had the mustache.
That's where you went wrong. You would have had the mustache, you would have been picked.
Yeah.
If you had a mustache and a mullet, you're picked.
Dude, I had a mullet. I knocked a guy out with a step back left hook with the mullet, and then I've had a mustache. I like hair. I'll cut it. I'll let it grow. I had dreads when I was in college. So
a lot of folks got mullets these days. Not a lot of them got clean stashes like you.
Yeah, I know, man. I have to bring back the.
Now, you got to have both at the same time, or I feel like we're missing something here.
Yeah, for sure. I like to bring the Bronson look. You know,
Meanwhile, Brandon's over there with no hair talking about what you talking about, mullets.
Yeah, man. I ain't got nothing. That's why I
Boy
had
got
to
that
grow the beard, man.
clean.
He's
but
a
no, it's really hard,
strong.
man. It's hard having a family and loving that family, wanting to spend all the time with that family, but knowing if you don't get your time in the gym, you're not doing yourself any justice. You're not helping yourself out. You got to sacrifice a lot. The people you love. Like I wish I could hang out with my family every weekend, but I got to train. And on the nights, we sometimes train till like 10 o'clock. Sometimes, I had to cut that out. So I train twice a day, most of the times, every day, except for next week. I'm not going to train twice a day, but I have to train so I can get home at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30, see my baby, and see my wife. And that's hard. It's hard on them,
Yeah.
especially when you lose and they see how hard you work and you lose because of you. And you're disappointed in yourself, but you can see how it hurts everybody around you because they're like, man,
Yeah.
they believe it too. And it didn't happen. You know what I mean? And like, golly, it would be amazing if all of our dreams would just come true, but it can't happen that way.
The guy on the other side of the ring got that same dream, right?
He's got the same journey as you, so you got to prove it to him that you're the man that he wishes he was.
That's no doubt. Brandon, you talked about having the 2 kids, 3 and under. I feel you. I got some kids myself, a wife, but you talked about the sacrifice, like doing this podcast, and we're so thankful to both of you guys for doing it, sacrificing more time, getting your names and everything out there. But talk for you specifically. You talked about the work you did and everything, and now you're training. You got a fight coming up. How do you juggle it?
Man, I'll say this, and this is a quote from Brian Hall. We were leaving the gym on a sparring day on Saturday, and we were just kind of congregating outside and talking, and he came up to the group after locking the gym up, and he was like, guys, I want to tell you something. He said, I know a lot of times people say you should find balance, and he said, in this game there is no balance. It's just extreme. You have to be at practice, and you also have to be a father. You have to train every day. You have to run and do your cardio. You have to do, your strength and conditioning and stuff. And you still have to be a son to your mother. You still have to be a decent human being. And that shit is hard on you, man. Like there's times when you're cutting weight and you got to be patient with your kids. And what are you going to do? You're going to yell at them and be a butthole, and they're 3-4 years old. No, like there's a time where we have to turn this off, because if we don't, we're going to be menaces to society, man. But there's also, times where we have to check in with ourselves and just be like, look, am I mentally good right now? Am I in a good space to be around people? So sometimes during fight week, man, I go off by myself, man. You can get a hotel room or go isolate yourself. But, my wife kind of knows during fight week, I'm kind of in another place. I hear people talking, but I'm halfway listening. I'm halfway visualizing how I'm going to, rip this guy apart. So I don't think there's a real balance. I just have to be extreme at all of this and hope that the sacrifices have a return on all those investments. Because like Trevor said, man, like, and Trevor, you're married, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I kid you not. If I was by myself, I probably wouldn't be able to do this, man.
Yeah.
Like being single and being a pro MMA fighter is hard, man. I can't imagine coming home and having to cook my food and then clean up and do all this and do all that. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. And I actually had to change what I was doing professionally to even do this. Like now, the majority of my income comes from day trading in the morning on the stock market. You know what I mean? So I spend an hour or two doing that. So it opens up my day, and I don't have to be under the thumb of, a 9 to 5. So I can get my butt to jujitsu at 10:30 in the morning, and then get back at MMA or boxing at 6 o'clock at night, and then run in between and lift weights in between or something. So there really is no balance. And I have family members that call me that want me to be here and be there, and they just have to understand that I'm usually in the gym, and I might not see your phone call for a couple of days.
Yeah, not this chapter of life.
Yeah, not this chapter. And then in the end, when it all works out, I think they'll understand. I'm reading a book called Relentless by Kobe Bryant's strength and conditioning coach. And he did this. He said that he made an example with his daughter. He missed so many different things. And I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be there, as much as I can. But he missed so many things. He'd fly out to go train Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant in the middle of the night when his daughter had a soccer game the next day. And when his daughter got older and they got millions of dollars and she's able to do what she wants and chase her dream and all this stuff, it'll never replace the time. But the opportunity that she has now, she came back to him and said, Dad, I understand. And so hopefully, God willing, when all this is over, I'll inspire my children to really chase their dreams and go after it. And they'll say, Dad, I understand.
Yeah, the money don't matter to the kids. It's the giggles that they get.
Exactly.
Yeah, no doubt.
I got a motto I say to all my kids. Fuck them kids.
Don't say it, Randy. No,
I love them though. I'm just joking. If y'all are listening to my show, I love y'all. One of you I love more than the others, but it's okay.
Yeah, but support's the most necessary because we get our pride and our ego shattered all the time on the mats. Some days you're the hammer and some days you're the nail. And it's hard to rebuild that psyche sometimes that gets taken from you from someone who's sometimes they're not better than you, but they still beat your ass because you're not having that good day. And you have to show up every day. And sometimes you get that ass whooped all week. And then sometimes you're whooping ass the next week. But it's so hard. And you got to have a real, a good support system to really believe in you when you're going through the deep valleys in your head and stuff,
It takes a special woman. But both of y'all are fathers, right? So you get your ego shattered all the way through all week long. Nothing shatter your ego more than like a 3-year-old don't want nothing to do with you though, man. That's
exactly.
you're like, damn.
Yeah. And I'll say for me, man, like when I come home, what makes it all better is like when I do come through that door, my kids rush me, man.
Yeah.
Like they scream at the top of their lungs and climb up my legs. So like
Brandon, I'm gonna tell you right now, that shit's gonna stop, cuz.
Hey, dude, you beat me to the punch, Randy. I was gonna say, look, I got a 16-year-old daughter. The game changes, bro. Y'all talking about the love and stuff. I'm wanting to fight my daughter on a daily.
Yeah, we got a lot of hormones running right now.
Yeah, we've almost thrown down like twice in the last 72 hours. So I'm just
look.
She's an enforcer on the soccer field, so she ain't afraid of me neither.
Hey, that's the best one.
I got a 16-year-old boy. Right, he knows everything. 13-year-old girl, 7-year-old girl, and a almost 4-year-old boy. So I'm all over the map. Man, the 2 boys and the 2 girls. But when they tell you, and I can't tell you any advice on the fight game. On the parent game, I can tell you this. Well, all those times that you do dot the door and they run up to you, man, I promise soak that shit in, because eventually you're gonna walk in and they're gonna be like, "Sup, bro?" And you like, damn, bro, you fucking paying rent.
Like I changed your diaper, man. Come on, like you peed on me.
Right? No shit.
Look,
all of a sudden I gotta bust his ego down. I still know him, little son.
What I love is when Randy sent me a message and said his son got a job at Starbucks, and that man said he's paying for everything now.
Everything.
Boy said, "Dad, take me to get a bank account." I'm like, "Bank account, bet." And we went to. He's like, other dad picked him up from work. He's like, "Hey, can we stop by McDonald's?" I said, "Yeah, well, how much you gonna get me, bro?" He's like, "They got hey, look." As soon as they ordered, I was like, "Can you upsize those fries? Thanks, I appreciate you."
All right, so we've been talking about the fight game and the kids, but now we're gonna play a game. Normally this is the game that loosens everybody up, but man, y'all been loose from the second Daniel started talking to y'all in the open. But it's called This or That. We'll give you 2 options. You choose one or the other. The only rule is you can't say neither or both. You have to actually answer the question. To make it easy, we'll start with Brandon. Will answer first every time, and then Trevor. All right. So post-fight freedom to eat whatever you want, man. What are we going with, pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
What you got, Trevor?
Oh, tacos for sure.
How many tacos can you put down, Brandon? If you like, especially post-fight when you've been like cutting, keeping your way down, like how many are we putting down?
If it's my wife's tacos, my wife is Mexican. She's Mexican and Chinese.
Oh yeah.
So we got Chinese food in the house and soy sauce on tacos and all kind of weird fusions and stuff like that.
Can you put down like a dozen? Can you go gangster?
Yeah, man. It's gonna be at least 8 to 10, man. 8 to 12, I'd say, of my wife's tacos.
Trevor, you're a heavyweight, man. Impress me, man. How many tacos?
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I would say probably 15 on a good day.
See, my answer would have been like, how many are there?
Yeah, if it's street tacos,
how many can I make?
Yeah, like it was a little bigger taco, but if street tacos, I'm smashing them all. Like those little things, 2 bites and that's it. So
No
Didn't say
doubt.
pizza, man. That pizza, all that cheese after a fight, man. I'll be farting all day, man.
Dude, I don't like pizza like that though.
I like it all. That's the problem. That's why I can't keep my weight down. But anyways, so no company at all or bad company, Brandon?
No company at all.
It's a smart answer. Trevor, I have a feeling you might go the other way.
He's like, give me all the pieces of shit. We're gonna laugh.
I would say no company at all because you are who you surround yourself with. So I would say I don't want no company if it's bad company.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, Brandon, if you can go to any concert in the world or any sporting event in the world, what are you picking, a concert or sporting event?
Sporting event, man. I want to go to Madison Square Garden and see a UFC at Madison Square.
There you go. Look, I didn't even have to
Never
ask.
been picked.
Yeah, never been picked, and I didn't even have to ask the second part. Usually I ask, what's the event? All right, what you got, Trevor? Sporting event or concert?
Dude, let's go to a concert. Let's bring back Prince and let's rock out, dude.
Yes.
Hey, I'm with that, man.
Let's do
Hell
it.
yeah, I'm there
I
too.
like sporting events, but man, I've been to so many as a child, and like I don't really watch it much on. I mean, like I will watch sports, but not like I used to. You know.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you had said rock concert for a mosh pit, I ain't attending.
No, Lord, no, God.
He is wearing a Def Leppard shirt. I mean, I was actually surprised.
No.
That man will be moshing by his damn self.
Yeah, I'm not in no mosh pit. Yo, what the fuck's up, Denny's? No, we're not doing none of that.
All right, Brandon, would you rather see the future or change the past?
Oh man. I think see the future, man. See the future.
If you could see one thing, what would it be? It doesn't even necessarily have to be like, I'm not talking about your family, like just something in the future you want to see, or it could be family related. What is it?
Dude, you stumped me, man. What would I want to see? I would want to see like my descendants, man. I want to see like what they do, if they're good people, if they remember me. You know what I mean?
I knew that shit was gonna be deep as hell, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
here for it.
Hey, he took a second to get there. He got there. Good answer.
Yeah, man. I want to see my descendants, man. I want them to be good people, man.
Trevor, you going back in the past so you could change that fight with Bubba?
No, man, we're future, dude. The past creates who you are.
Exactly.
We're going to the future all day.
All right. So if you can go to the future, is there anything you'd want to see?
Man, I want to see a house full of kids. I want to have a gray head, big old beard, and a fat belly. Just be a big old grandpa, man.
You want to be me, bro? I'm honored, man.
be a big old
He
respectful grandpa.
didn't he say beard, Randy? I think you're out on that.
What the fuck?
I'll probably keep the stash. I'll do the roll up stash with my
Shit.
and my puff, my little smoking device. So I'll roll with that. Old smoking grandpa.
All right. So Brandon, would you rather be the hero or the villain?
The hero.
Who's your favorite hero?
Why is it Batman?
Man, this guy's reading my mind, man. That's weird, man.
He does that.
I gotta pick something else now. He said Batman. You know what? You know who I really like, man?
Batman. Fuck Batman.
You know who I really like, man?
Hmm.
I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan, man. I like Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. I know it makes me a nerd, but that is my stuff, man.
Brandon, before Trevor answers, let me tell you something. Randy did that to a baseball star that we had on, and he went deep. He said Superman, and we tried to tell him Superman was lame, and then he said Superman grew up with parents, and I was like, that's the deepest shit I ever. You just took this whole question completely a whole different way.
Well, all of us don't. God damn it.
Brandon, I gotta say this. I've been scared of you this whole episode until that answer. That's silly.
I love it, man.
Silly.
Hey, when you talk about like fighting and what inspired you, when I was in high school, man, I would rush home to catch Dragon Ball Z on Cartoon Network, man. And then I'd rush outside to go fight my friends and see if we could do it in real life.
See, Daniel, and then he got scary again. Trevor, what about you, man? Hero or villain?
Everyone's a hero until something bad happens. I'll be a villain this time.
That was everybody on this episode would have said villain. I could tell you love it.
All right.
Yeah.
So give me villains. There's so many to choose from. Who is it, man? Who's the top villain for you?
A villain, man. You got me stomped out. Probably. Let's go.
I was born in the dark.
You know, the Joker for sure.
I mean, you can't go wrong with most of the Batman villains. But if you say Bane, Joker, any of those,
no, the Joker probably because he's so like he's got some really good dark humor and I like it, and it's really he's hilarious, and he's psychotic. I like that factor.
No doubt. All right, so this
dude from American Psycho. What's his name? Christian Bale. Oh, freak. What's his name? Oh, him probably. That dude's the best.
That's a wild ass movie.
Dude, how crazy is that? American Psycho 1, I think.
Yeah.
A couple, but I'm talking about one with
Randy. I'm not going to ask this last question. You're going to ask it because I know what their answer is based upon everything they've said in this episode that they would go with the modest success on purpose. So just formulate it in the question of money.
So Brandon, we're going to start with you, right? So the question is massive success by accident or modest success on purpose? But I've kind of reformulated the question a little bit. And my question to you is this: if I was to give you $100 million, or say, Gaitor, you can earn 20 million on your own, which one you picking?
Give me the 100 million and then I'll make it more on my own.
Smartest fucking answer we've had so far. I'm assuming by your head nod, you agree, Trevor.
Yes, most definitely.
So
let me get some money so I can create some generational wealth.
Yeah.
Honest to God, every single person, 100% of people, I want to earn $20 million. And then I say, you're okay. So now I got 80 million more fucking dollars than you broke.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just because of your pride. I had a feeling you guys were going to go with the right answer though, and you did.
No, I'll spend that 20 million on real estate out of the 100 million that you gave me.
I'm probably gonna, if I wasn't married, I'd spend it on cocaine and strippers. But since I am, it's, you know, we're
the hearts can't last much longer, man.
Especially, I'm about to be 40, dog. I know.
I don't even. Randy's got a list of things he would want to do, so he's gonna need that extra 80 mil to supplement
bond money, boys.
He's got to supplement those bad choices.
Yeah.
So guys, that's the game, man. That's the episode, man. It's been great. I'm glad you guys came on. I do want to give you, yeah, absolutely. I want to give, you guys the opportunity to plug or promote anything. So Brandon, I'll start with you, man. What do you got?
Man, I want you guys to come out August the 27th at the Memphis Music Room to see the Attitude MMA Fights. I'll be fighting there. Trevor will be fighting there. Out of Law School MMA, we got 5 other guys that are fighting. So there's nothing but fireworks coming out of our gym. I don't expect anything less from Trevor. Y'all come see us do this thing. This is Grind City. This is Memphis. I think we fight harder than anybody else, any other city. I don't think anybody has grit and grind like us. It's great to have an opportunity like this. If you want to follow me, I'm on Facebook, but I don't really check it that much. Follow me on IG at gladiator_B Gaitor, BGAITOR, gladiator_B Gaitor. Y'all come see what I'm doing every day. You see me training, you see my family, and you see all the crazy antics that I do on a daily basis.
There you go. Trevor, what about you? What you plugging, what you promoting?
Well, you guys, this is the thrill, the unknown element here. I'm going to knock out Hefe Hodges on the 27th at the Memphis Music Room. You guys need to be there or be a square. That's up to you. The only squares I see are the ones I'm smoking and throwing out the back door. But other than that, come check us out. There's going to be bombs thrown, F-bombs and fist bombs. So we're going to do the damn thing. Come check us out, though. We're going to put Memphis on the map as always. I was told once I got here, we might be the Grizzlies, but this is the city of Wolves, and we're going to run with the Wolves on the 27th, and you guys should be there.
Let's get it. Once again, everybody, go. Memphis Music Room, August 27th. Doors open at 5 p.m. Fights start at 6 p.m. If you can't make it, make sure you go to attitudemma.com and you can stream it live. Gentlemen, we wish you nothing but the best. Have a solid rest of your camp, man. Go get it. Make sure that you come back, talk about it when you guys pick up these victories next weekend.
I got
Appreciate
you, bro.
guys.
Man, thank y'all for having us, man. Really appreciate you
sure.
guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
y'all.
guys.
Good luck.
Absolutely. That's Brandon Gaitor and Trevor Wallace. If you like hearing their story or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on Twitter, listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. As always, comments, ratings, feedback is always welcome. We'll be back on Wednesday. We got episode 8 coming at you, and we're bringing on Hunter Elliott to talk about national championships and just overall Ole Miss baseball. So this has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong bodies, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We out.